This Amateur Radio Roundtable is brought to you in part by ICOM America. All right, everybody, welcome to Amateur Radio Roundtable. Tonight is Tuesday, January the 9th, and man, we're coming to you on the internet at w5kub.com. We've also on shortwave, international shortwave station WBCQ out of Monticello, Maine on 5130. And if you're listening out there, you can join the show by just going to W5KUB. We'd love to have you. That way you can watch the video and you can join us in the chat room. We've got a great group on here tonight. You might have seen a little bit of shenanigans going on pre-show here. They're kind of a tough group to keep under control there. But nevertheless, they're here, and I think it's going to be a good show. Boy, I hear we've got some neat and exciting things to talk about tonight. Hey, if you're a first-time viewer, if you would, somewhere up on our main menu, and that reminds me, I need to turn off that little ticker up there at the top.
Turn that off.
Yeah, I got to turn that off if I find it. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so somewhere up on the top up there at the top menu, there's a place that says Facebook, Twitter. Join us on Facebook. And you can follow the show and you know, post your shack pictures in there. Katie's going to be doing shack pictures next week. So send us shack pictures. And you know, once I announced Katie was going to be doing it, we're getting millions of shack pictures. I don't know why I can't get them. But anyway, we're going to have shack pictures next week. Katie will be back. I don't know if Katie's in here tonight. Katie and Dwayne both have the flu. Katie's in here tonight. So everybody say hello to Katie and wish her to get well real soon and have her back next week. All right, so let's see for what I'm anxious to get over to these guys at the Hamvention, and let's just first of all let's just go to the group and see who all's out there, and let's talk a minute with everybody if I can.
So you're gonna put me last again? Well,
you're not last. Let's see. You're not last, Raleigh, but you're not first. But
okay.
But I tell you what, we're gonna put everybody together here right in the beginning. We're gonna talk about a minute together. I mean, we got some powerful people here. We got look at here. We got Martin F. Jew there. We got Riley. We got the big guys up there at Hamvention. What do you think, guys?
These are the big guns, and I'll tell you something, Tom. You have to get up pretty late in the morning to fool this group.
To fool this group?
Yes.
Oh, I would imagine so. Boy, I tell you. Hey, Martin, you always take a lot of stuff up there to Hamvention, don't you? You just...
Well, we do. We take a semi up there, and we take our truck. We take a van full of people and 2 cars full of people.
Well, I tell you, I've seen you up there many years, and hey, I bet you Ray Novak's in here watching tonight. You know, Ray used to work for you. You gave him his first job.
Well, we did. He came right out of college, and he worked for us for several years, and he traveled the country and made all the ham fests, and he was a real go-getter. I remember when he was let's see, I think the lights were out, and the truck was parked in our parking lot. He was a go-getter. That he crawled under the truck and pulled all the wires out to try to find what the problem was.
What?
The real problem was he couldn't find out where the wires went back.
That's what I heard. He don't tell the story the same way. All right, look, hey, I want to give my experience with Hamvention. I've only been going 34 years, and man, I've loved it. In fact, that was the catalyst that started this web broadcast. It originally was just the Dayton Hamvention, and then we expanded it a little bit more to some other Hamfests, and then we expanded it almost 3 years ago to our weekly show there.
Hey, Tom.
Riley, what are your memories about Hamvention?
Well, first I want to tell you that building with the yellow lights on the upper floors behind your right-hand shoulder.
Let me look here. The building? Oh, my show. Okay, yeah, the building there. I got you right here.
I'm on the 18th floor of that. I can see you very clearly.
Oh, are you? The 18th floor? All right. That's
Perfect.
cool. Hey, so Riley, you've been up to Hamvention a few times, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I've been about 8 times.
About 8 times. Okay. Are you going to be there this year?
Yeah, I probably will be there this
All
year.
right. Well,
It's getting a little boring around here. It's been sub-freezing for weeks, and so I got to get out of here pretty soon.
all right. Well, I hope to see you up there. Be sure and come by and see us there. All right. Let's jump over to, these are the big guys right here. We've got Ron Kramer, and we got Michael Coulter. They look frozen. Michael, are you holding that can still, or are you moving?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yes, I hear you.
Evidently, we're froze up. You know, I might have taken a sip out of that, but I'm not trying to sell it.
Well, you know, you wouldn't have the air conditioner down too low, I don't guess. So that's probably not the problem. Let me put your name up there. We got Ron Kramer, KD8ENJ with us. He's a general chairman. And we've got Michael Coulter, WHCI. He's the treasurer and on the board of directors, and also I think you're the official spokesperson for Hamvention. And I'm hoping that your video will come back in here in a second.
Well, I think, you know, it's probably something wrong with Riley's connection there that's freezing ours out. That would be my guess.
Well, it might be.
Blame it to me, okay?
It might be. Hey, I tell you what to do. Let's just try it real quick, Michael. Down at the bottom of your screen here, just hit your camera, X your camera out, and then hit it again and see if it comes back on. It'd be cool to see you guys.
The bottom of the screen.
Yeah, well, I think you're on that app, so I'm sorry.
I see it. Okay. Camera's out.
Okay.
Camera's on.
There we go. We got you back now.
Is that a sport you have on?
We got you. What was your question, Riley?
That little coat or vest that Mike has on makes him look intelligent.
I thought it was a bulletproof vest when I tested with him earlier.
When it was a perfect picture with that can of Pepsi Cola you were drinking.
I thought he was for sure was doing a commercial. I really did. All right, guys. Hey, tell us, man. Tell us, you got any news? You know, we're getting close, man. I'm packing a truck already. Go ahead. What do you got?
We're 128 days out. It is close.
Yeah.
All right, Ron.
I saw.
What do we got?
Hey, I saw you guys. I saw you guys made an announcement. It's great that you're getting a new building there, and my understanding is that's going to be probably more space than you had under the tent. So tell us a little about that first.
Well, we do have a new building that is going to be up and ready to go by the time the show comes around. They're putting things together right now. They haven't assigned the contractor yet, but that's due here in another week or so. But the new building, plus another building that was on the property, a furniture store that is being vacated. With those two buildings, we will not have to use the tents this year. So no inside exhibitors in tents, and that makes me feel much better about things. And I know it'll help all of our vendors, make them happy.
Well, and it will, but you know next year when you have all those buildings, the sun's going to shine the whole time.
Well, sure it will. It's good insurance.
Yeah, it is.
How many people did you have this past year?
Just under 30,000 people.
That
Wow.
is
It was a big increase over previous years.
That's
it's
close
true.
to the peak during its heyday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's right up there when it used to be really big.
30,000 people.
Now you know back 30 years ago when you had the high 20,000s or whatever outside at Hera, outside it was so crowded out there that we almost got mad because you couldn't walk around and see everything. That's how crowded it was. Now this year there at Greene County Fairgrounds, I didn't notice the big crowds. You could walk around.
That is true. There is a lot more room that we can move around in. And actually, we're changing the name. Actually, the county is changing the name. Greene County is changing it to the Greene County Exposition Center.
I thought maybe they were going to change it to the Greene County Hamvention.
Well, we're only there 3 weeks out of the year.
Yeah.
So they're not ready to do that yet.
Uh-huh.
You know, I've been going to Dayton for 43 years in a row.
Well, man, Martin, that's a long time.
That is a long time. We were at Hera for 52 years. So
Wow.
you spent a lot of time in Hera Arena.
Yeah. Now, it used to be downtown, wasn't it? Or am I thinking about a different Hamfest?
It was. It was downtown at the Biltmore Hotel. That is long gone.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Okay.
But in 1952, we moved over to Hera Arena just as it was getting its start, and we stayed there until they closed.
Wow.
We had to make some big decisions and make the move.
I bet you 50 years ago, Hera was nice. You know? It probably
Is
was.
Hera completely closed now?
Hera is closed completely.
Mm. Why did they close it?
There were family issues going on.
And they had tax issues too that
Tax
could
issues.
not be resolved with within their family. There was a couple of deaths in the family, and things just couldn't get resolved, and we couldn't wait any longer. And so we worked with them as long as we could. You know, a lot of people liked Hera, but we heard a lot of bad things about it, and you know, it was a mixed bag. So now we've got a new place, and it wasn't. A lot of people think we just moved to Xenia, you know, in a few short weeks that we figured out we'd move to Greene County. That had been in play for well over a year. We had been, a group of us were working on trying to find a location, a suitable location. And it turned out that Greene County was our best place to go to. And the thing that is exciting is the fact that the elected officials in Greene County are really behind us and really working hard at this. And as a matter of fact, the Greene County Sheriff, who is basically the guy responsible for the traffic patterns, he got his license a few months ago. So we're pretty excited, and a few more of the county officials are planning on getting their license as well.
Just talking to them today about that, and they plan on starting up classes here. There's a new class going on in Greene County starting in February, and they are planning to attend.
Wow.
Well, you know, Michael and Ron, I always just came up for the fun of being there. I didn't care what the place looked like. And like you said, there's some that would complain and some that don't care. And I was one of the ones that just came there to meet and see people. But I think you guys have got a great place now. And I think you're going to make a lot of improvements and add things. There is one question. I'll try to throw questions at you during the segment here. There's one in the chat room about the eating. I know you guys have added a lot of great eating places there now. They're suggesting maybe if you could put a tent up for people that are eating. I think we had that one shelter out there, so that may already be in the plans. I don't know.
Already in the plans. We'll have more seating area. We'll have more covered seating area. That is one thing we heard about that was a problem. It was unusually hot last year, along with unusually windy and unusually rainy. But no, we're going to be putting up covers so people don't have to be out in the sun. They'll have places to go to rest and get ready to head on out into the flea market or inside the buildings once again.
Yeah, well, that's great. Hey, I'll come back just for the food next year. Now that was a big improvement.
it was a big improvement, and we're actually adding on to the number of food vendors that are available. So there'll be additional. There are a couple of people that are not coming back. They weren't that busy, but we've added five additional food vendors to the list.
Well, I have one question. These Hamfest hot dogs that we've been eating for 15 years, how much you think that takes off our life?
That's a good question.
You know, I had one year I started to get one. I said, no, I can't do this. There's too much fat in this. So I just put my initial, my call sign in it, K4ZDH. And the next 2 years, I saw that hot dog rotating on that rotisserie. Call sign.
That must have been at Harrow.
I've had a few. I've had a few of those.
Greene County.
Yeah.
Is that vendor with those big thick pork chops going to be back?
Yes, they are.
Yes,
Absolutely.
you know, a lot of these vendors are farm groups and farm coalitions in Greene County, and they raise the beef and they raise the pork, and I mean, you get it from almost field to plate. I mean, it's truly amazing. Homemade ice cream, the mashed potatoes and noodles. I mean, all that's homemade stuff, and it's incredible. So, yeah, that was one of the big things that we wanted to do was upgrade the food, and I think that we're going to continue to do that.
You need to let people know about that.
We've been trying.
Yeah.
We've been working on it. So.
Well, guys, what else are you doing there? Hey, I mean, can you talk any about the flea market area?
Well, we are working on the mud situation. There are some things going on. It's not down in writing yet, but we have improvements that are going to be coming available to us, and hopefully within the next couple of weeks we'll be able to release some more information on that.
Oh, that would be good. Well, I think.
Yeah, one of the things that's important to us is not to put out information that this is going to happen and that's going to happen until we know exactly what is going to happen.
Right.
I mean, we're working with a lot of different groups to make some things happen there, but as soon as we get that information, and I believe it'll be great information, we'll pass it on.
You know, when I go to Dayton, I spend most of my time out in the flea market. That's where a lot of my stuff in the offices came from.
Yeah, all the old vintage stuff. In fact, Martin, people used to tell me, you know, I've been going for 35 years, and people say that's the same thing. That's the same radio that's been out here for 35 years. But you know what? It just keeps changing hands, and a lot of people collect that stuff. You know, I mean, the flea market was also my favorite spot because I like to just buy junk and take the parts out of it, the coils, the capacitors, and build amplifiers and stuff. And so the flea market was always a spot I always liked. And in our viewers, it's tough for us to cover it all. We're doing a little bit better now because we've got some roving reporters that go out now with the cameras and come back. But back when we were outside, people were saying, "When are you going inside? When are you going inside?" They want to see the new stuff. They want to, and it was really difficult for us to do that. Plus, the internet connectivity was bad, and over the years, it's really greatly improved. And you guys have done an outstanding job, in that area. So, and now we're inside, and we do have roving camera guys now that are actually going out into flea market and places and bringing it back, and we're going to be able to show it all.
Mike?
Our hope is that you're not showing it to a lot of people at home, that they're all at Hamvention.
Well, a lot of people have told me that once they've seen it, they're coming up there the next year. So, hopefully we're bringing people to you. One of the main reasons.
I'm making a bad joke.
No, I know. One of the main reasons, of course, we want to do this, and we want people to have the ham radio experience, the Hamfest experience. And, you got kids that are 13 years old. There's no way they can get up there. They don't have any transportation, don't have any money. People may be sick, people can't get off work. So there's a lot of people out there. I mean, if you could get everybody up there, you'd have, how many hams in the United States? You'd have a few 100,000 up there. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Mike, let me ask you a question. Yeah, Mike. You said there were 30,000 people there this year. How does that rank with the NAB convention in Las Vegas and then the one prior to that, which is the Land Mobile convention in Las Vegas? Must be right up there with them.
Actually, I don't follow those. I don't know those conventions, but you know, they're not really amateur radio geared, I don't think, as we are. But at any rate, when our philosophy about population at Hamvention, we like to see a lot of people come. It makes our vendors happy. It makes us happy. But still, we are not in any competition with other amateur radio ham fest. For example, we really like to go down to Orlando. We're really good friends with the people in Orlando. Good friends with the people in Tokyo, as well as Friedrichshafen. And of course, you know, Charlie passed away, but Tom, I remember, gosh, I don't know how many years ago it was. Maybe it was as many as 10 years ago. You interviewed Charlie Huntsville and myself.
That's right.
And great time.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know how we stack up to the two events, Riley, that you mentioned. But
well, it's got to be pretty close. And I know that NAB convention used to have one night for ham radio operators, and that always drew a big crowd in the years that I went. I mean, not because I was there, but that always draws a big crowd. I haven't been in 10 years, but it was very popular.
I went to your forums when you had them in Dayton, Riley, and you had like standing room only at your forums. And I haven't seen you back at a Hamvention in, geez, many years. So I'm glad you're coming back.
And we're going to have Riley do some of those on the show here. Riley, there's one called, I don't know if it's the name of your presentation, but it's talking about the one big knob. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do. That's a recurring theme that I try to tell people.
Well, we're going to talk about that. All right, so what did you say, Ron? 128 days. What? We need to start packing now? I mean, you guys going to be ready for us?
We'll be ready. We are. We just finished up a Hamvention chair meeting. We have about 75 people that meet every month, and we find out what each committee is doing right now. We just walked out of that meeting so we could do this. It seems like I'm in meetings all the time. I had a safety meeting with Greene County today earlier, and they are just all on board. They saw what we did last year. They got excited, and they're ready to become hams. They really liked working with us. We really enjoyed working with them. They've done such a great job for us.
Are you at the clubhouse now?
We are at the clubhouse right now.
Okay.
What can you guys tell us that we don't already know? You got anything out there? Anything new going on?
Oh, we do. We have some exciting news. In this year of all the natural disasters, we thought this may be a perfect year to have a theme that surrounds that. And our new theme this year is You're the First to Hear It, right here. Amateur radio serving the community.
Serving the community, okay.
And so that will be our theme this year. We have lots of plans. There will be forums presented on the subject, and we're looking at some real meaty forums. Nothing general, nothing, sometimes you walk away not knowing what to do next. This year, we'll have some forums that will tell you how you can get involved, what you need equipment-wise, what you need education-wise, what you need to do to become involved. We also have Homeland Security coming. They're still putting that together. We have MCOM vehicles that are quite a few that are coming that will be on display. So we're trying to organize this around that theme, and we think it's an important theme. And we think will be a popular theme with all of our visitors.
Well, I'm sure it will. Emmett Hohensy's in the chat room there. I think he's got the MCOM van there. It'll be up there again this year if people didn't get to see it later. And I think tell us about the stations. You guys set up some stations the last few years there for people to operate, I think.
We have done that. We have special event station, and they are building up to, we're cutting back a little bit. We had some real high-end radios, hard for people to use, that weren't really qualified or knowledgeable with them. So we're settling down to mid-range radios. We'll have very competent people helping people get started and practice on these radios. So we do have those plans. They're in process right now.
Yeah, I think that's going to be. We're looking at a better layout for that too, and we want to make it so that it's more youth friendly. Couple of other things that we're looking at, or I want to remind everybody about, is the awards. If you go to our website, and it's not hard to find, www.hamvention.org, which is we have two gentlemen that are really working hard to take care of that website, and there's a lot of new things on there all the time. But what I want to remind everybody is get your nominations in, get them in soon for Club of the Year, Special Technical Achievement, Ham of the Year, Special Achievement Awards. And it's all listed, and all the forums are there on the website. So please get that in soon. We'll be meeting in mid-February to decide the winners of that. So that's really important. And then another exciting thing, if I could go ahead and jump in, is that the county, people in the county, and they aren't really building these, but there are new hotels being built in the county and restaurants. So one will be ready in Xenia. I forget the brand names. Hampton, I think. Hampton. And it'll be ready in Xenia, and there's restaurants that they're building right around that nice location, easy drive from there in the center of Xenia to get to Hamvention. And there's some new ones also going in the Beaver Creek area, which is not far from Hamvention.
And a new one at Fairborn also.
Right. I don't want to forget that.
We stayed out at Beaver Creek last year, and have reservations there again for this year, but we're sure hoping that that new hotel will, I think it's supposed to be finished soon. They've already started on them, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
It's not far from being finished.
Yeah, we're going to try to get in that. We'll get a little closer. That way we'll have an extra hour, each day to spend out at Hamvention.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we really wanted to let you know about the theme for this year, and that we're going to be working hard on emergency communications all the way around. There's been so much in the world right now, as Ron was saying, that it's important that we really visit this subject as an amateur radio community, a worldwide amateur radio community. And are the things that we're doing still pertinent? Do they meet today's needs? And how ready are we really for emergencies as they come up? So I guess Martin's getting bored. He's
Let's see.
leaving.
Is Martin leaving here? Let's see. I think he probably went to
Yeah.
get him.
Riley's got a bigger glass than I have. I got to go
He-
get a refill.
I saw that big glass Riley's got. So Riley, we're glad you're coming.
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we'll. Yeah, I haven't, enjoyed spending time with you when you were around before. So, what's the chat room look like?
Well, I'm going to throw the phone number up there real quick. And there's the phone number if anybody wants to call in and say hello and keep your questions short. Chat room, you guys are doing a great job up there. They were talking about the tents, the food. They want you to bring the ice cream back. A lot of comments like that. Looks like everybody's pretty happy. I think everybody's still waiting for your announcement on the flea market out there. And I know you'll get something done here probably in the next month or two. You'll be able to tell us what you're going to do out there.
I think we may be able to tell you what we're going to do. It may not be done yet, but in the next few weeks, they're trying to work out exactly which way to handle it to make the least amount of mud.
Okay. Let's see. We got somebody on the phone. Who's on the phone?
You got Richard, KB3ZVH. I was the one that called you a couple of weeks where we were buried up in Erie, and I just want to let you know that I've already got my reservations for the hotel and everything all ready for Hamvention.
Oh, man, that's great, Richard. Hey, come by and see us, man.
Richard, were you there last year?
No, I wasn't. Unfortunately, a week before Hamvention, I ended up with a retinal detachment in my right eye, and I was in surgery.
Oh, goodness.
That's terrible.
We'll look forward to seeing you. Thanks for the nice comment.
All right, we got another call. Let me grab it real quick. Who's on the phone?
Hey, Tom. Jeff, N3VE, and good evening, everyone that's watching. I just want to talk to the gentleman, Michael and Joe. Just a wonderful job you did last year, and looking forward to coming back out. And actually looking at that right now. Philadelphia today.
All right, Jeff, you're just a little garbled there. You said great job, and you're looking forward to coming back. I heard that.
Oh, I'm sorry that the cell phone's not doing such a great job, but
It sounded
maybe
good
I should
now.
have called up on HF.
Sounded good. So, Ron and Michael, Jeff came in from the New Jersey area, and he helped us out a little bit last year. He did some recording for us and brought it back, and it allowed us to show, some of the other areas instead of just, the building where we were located. So, thanks a lot, Jeff, for your help there.
Oh, no problem. Can you hear me better?
I'm hearing you fine, yeah.
I can hear you,
okay.
Jeff. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Ron and Michael, and you guys did a great job. And I got to tell you, every time I ran into you out there, it was a pleasure speaking to you because you took the time to answer some questions. You weren't too busy, trying to put out fires, which unfortunately you have to do when you're running a big event like that. So it's nice to be able to talk to the people that put the show together. And it was a great show, and I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fantastic having a new building. Hope you can do something with the mud and the parking. I'm really curious, though, about the parking, because that was a big issue at on Sunday, where we weren't able to park on the soccer fields. I guess they're called soccer fields. What's going on with that?
Okay, we are working on that. Actually, it was discussed today at the safety meeting. It's a safety parking. We have everybody involved there. We're making some decisions now. There will be more off-site parking available. We're talking about materials in there to help keep the cars out of the mud. Making some different parking arrangements, just the areas we're parking in. We may be able to eliminate some of the muddier areas and move into some drier, more uphill areas. So
But do you think there will be parking available at the location?
Say that again.
Do you think there will be parking available like there was last year?
Yes, we will have parking available. And
Because that would, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, and off-site parking, we're adding additional spots off-site if you would like to do that. If you're buying things in the flea market or inside exhibits, we'll have an area where you can drop that off, take the bus back, pick up your car, drive in, load up, and head right on home.
That'd be nice.
So
Nice.
last year, the problem went on the first day, Friday morning, was the traffic situation where I believe that, the police were so friendly and they were giving people too much time and courtesy to keep the traffic moving. That's been taken care of. It seemed to be it had been taken care of on Saturday morning. But do you suspect that you'll have more off-site parking this year and expect people to use more off-site parking?
If I were, if I could give you a bit of advice on that, I think using off-site parking is really a good plan because, the bus drivers know all the ways around, and they'll be able to get in easier, and you don't have to park out anywhere, and they'll drop you off
Right at the front door.
Yeah, and like I say, we're about to make some announcements here soon about some really nice parking and lodging area that will be in the vicinity that we did have access to last year. So we're pretty excited about that, but we can't really release anything yet on that. But yeah, parking on site is one thing. Weather's great, park there. But I'll tell you, people that if you take the bus drivers know how to get around that traffic. That's what they do for a living, and I would highly suggest that.
Okay, well, thank you so much for answering my questions, Ron and Michael. And
Thanks,
Tom, thanks for doing a great job that you do. Well,
thanks, Jeff. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right. Who we got on the phone?
Oh, this is Greg, N9NWO. I'm a volunteer out there. In fact, I was there from Wednesday all the way through Sunday. Any way to get people from the Fair Board, like Kayla Benton?
Are you still there, Greg?
Yeah. And I was just wondering if we could get some of the Fair Board members to come on and talk, particularly like Kayla Benton, who's just very personable and has lots of knowledge and so forth.
Go ahead. All right. We plan to start having more of the Greene County folks in on our interview processes that we do on the programs, and we've already talked to a few of them, and they're willing to do that and excited to do it. So don't know about all the Fair Board members who we would have, but we do have a couple in mind that we'd like to do that with. So they can tell you in their own words. These are non-hams. These are people that we work with, and they can tell you their feelings and what they're doing, and you can hear it from them as well. That's part of the plan this year in a continual communication process.
Yeah, I was talking with Kayla last year, and she was at the meeting where the Dara presented it to him, and she goes, Hamvention? Because she grew up on a hog farm. She's saying, pork producers?
Yeah, I heard that story, but that's my children. I live outside of Xenia. I live out in the countryside there, and I know lots of these people. And I took my kids were in 4-H, and we raised goats and hogs and chickens and all of that. And so I know these folks, and they are by and large pretty excited about it. Especially after the first year, they went, oh my gosh, there was more people went to Hamvention than the population of Xenia, Ohio.
Yes.
Well, my comment is that was a city of 30,000. The chairman was like a mayor. The safety coordinator was like a public safety commissioner. Brian at Inside Exhibits was like the head of DPW. It's a small city.
Yeah, it is. One of the things that you mentioned, talking about, last year and the sheriff and the traffic is that, and I might have mentioned it earlier, maybe didn't hear it, but Jerry is Jerry Irwin. He's now he's our sheriff, and he's now an amateur radio operator. He worked very hard he and his people to correct that problem in 24 hours, the traffic problem.
All right. Hey, there was a question in the chat room
Gene Fisher is the sheriff
about ADA parking. Are you going to have more ADA parking this year, or maybe where the tents were on the pavement?
We will, since they're building this new building for us, that is taking up part of the flea market that was in front of the pavilion area or the administration building, the fairgrounds administration building. We lose some of that flea market space, and they're probably going to be moving over into that paved parking area.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if you heard me. I gave you the wrong name for the sheriff. I gave you a previous name. But our current sheriff in Greene County is Gene Fisher, and I apologize for that. Gene Fisher. And he's just really gung-ho on Hamvention. He's doing a superb job for us as well in traffic and anything else we need.
He is a new ham.
Yeah, who we have on the phone?
You have Don Allen from Otisville, Michigan, 88 PAX. And I wanted to definitely thank Joe and Michael for the job they did last year. I think they pulled off a wonderful job from what they had to deal with. And the people of Fairborn, or Greene County there, that run the fairgrounds, I mean, I'd like to shake every one of their hands. That place is a spectacular venue for what it is. Some people were kind of bummed out about the tents, but the tents are going to be gone now, so there won't be no issue. In the parking situation, I thought was wonderful. I actually went down and parked at the school there. That was only like a 5-minute trip over to the venue, so I thought that was fabulous.
Yeah, it's great. You know, it's not any one or two people that put on Hamvention. There's 657 volunteers last year. And all of them had important jobs to make sure that this kept going.
Yeah, here's a comment for you, Michael. The bus drop-off area was a considerable walk across the grass and mud from the gate. This was doubly discouraging, causing our bus to sit in long traffic at a point closer to the main gate. I'm not sure what he's saying. I think you're saying if you get the buses in a little bit closer to bring people in, that would be helpful.
We are working on that. We're actually in the safety meeting today. We had a long discussion on how we could change and make the buses more effective and closer to the front gate. We did have the shuttles last year. A lot of people did not use the shuttles and did the walking. We had golf carts last year. They were there. They were available. Some people did not use them. We will have more of both this year.
Here's one issue a person had. He said the bus operators seem more concerned about filling up the bus than getting passengers to the fairgrounds. At the small lot we were at, we sat for an antagonizing long time. So I guess there's got to be a balance. You can't just drive the bus when it's 90% empty, but I'm sure you guys are looking at that and you're planning.
Actually, we had the bus company, we had supervisors in there that were regulating that, and they were trying to make the most efficient use of the bus. You know, they didn't have to be filled completely, but they didn't want to run 3 people at a time.
Yeah, I was going to say one more thing too, Tom.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
If the people that are going down there, I want to remind everybody, it's kind of hard to get a hotel room. And I booked January 2nd, and most of the hotels, quite a few of them were already full. And so if you don't want to make any long drives, you better hurry up and book your rooms now. Well, I don't want to tie it up. I know there's a lot of people who want to talk to you guys, so I'll say 73.
Right, Don. Don, thanks for calling. Well, yeah, hey, the hotel situation is kind of getting back like it was 30 years ago. If you didn't make your reservation within a week after you left, you might not get a room. Now it got better over the years, but it sounds like
Thank you, Don.
yeah, it sounds like it. We're going to have the hotels are going to start filling again, and hopefully those new hotels will be great there. All right, let's see. Okay, well we've gone kind of long tonight. Emmett just going to have to shorten his thing or stay late. Let's see what else we got. Any more questions out there?
Well, we'll be on again, Tom. So
Yeah.
We don't have to answer every question tonight.
Okay.
Do want to mention you can buy your tickets online right now, and it's at www.hamvention.org. And Tom, we want to thank you for having us on to talk to folks. And you know, our club is doing the very best we can. Nobody gets paid to do this. And I do want to mention that we put a tremendous amount of money back into the amateur radio community. We support the expeditions. We support many, yeah, we help clubs out when they're in trouble. We have scholarships. We do a lot of different things for amateur radio. We give back, and why do we do this? You know, it's because we feel like Hamvention is an important pillar in the amateur radio community. It has been for many, many years. So we want to continue that heritage and honor the men and women that came before us that made Hamvention what it is today. And we want to thank all of you for coming to Hamvention, visitors and vendors. And Martin, it's good to see you, and we'll see you at not sooner. We'll see you at Hamvention. We'll be Ron and I will be in Orlando at Hamcation this year. We'll have an information booth there, so if you're going there, stop and say hello to us. And Riley, great to see you, and hope to see you at Hamvention, my friends. So with that, Tom, thanks.
Hopefully falling into place, and we can keep you updated.
Well, we'll do it again. Just whenever you guys are ready, just give me a call, and we will get you on here. Like I said, this is the catalyst that started this show up. So I'm all for it there. Martin, say goodbye to him, Martin. All right. Riley, you got any last words for him?
Yeah, just a few things. I think you do an incredible job with a convention that size. I can't imagine the work and the planning that goes into that, which probably starts about the day after the convention is over. And I look forward to seeing you in May.
It did. It actually did.
Yeah, wonderful job.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we're going to move on with some more ham radio stuff here. Riley's going to do his little segment. We're going to introduce him and talk about our new Ask Riley segment that we're going to have on here regularly, and you guys are welcome to tune in tonight if you don't have to go home or go to a meeting. 73, Ron and Michael.
See you guys.
Thank you.
All right. Well, okay. That went pretty good. We had just a little bit of internet problems there toward the end. Let's see. Emmett's calling in. Let me see if I can get Emmett on here. See if I can add Emmett to the call. There's Emmett. Hey, Emmett. How you doing?
How you doing, Tom? Let me turn off my end of the world here. I'm going to be out of the chat room and everything. So,
okay.
There we go. That way I can see everyone's eloquent face. And yeah, I got my big glass too right about now.
Well, we're running just a little bit late with you. Hope you don't mind. You're going to come in a little later. We got Riley. We're going to talk to Riley for about 5 or 10 minutes here. Martin is still up there. Martin, have you gone to refresh your drink or anything during the show?
Well, I have refreshed my drink, and it's starting to take some effect on me.
Okay. All right. All
right.
Well,
over to you right now.
All right. All right. So Emmett, just stand by, and we're gonna pick Riley up here in just a minute. So we'll be right back with everybody. Don't go away. Happy New Year's from ICOM. Start out the new year with a bang with one of ICOM's new available products. Communications have never been so much fun. The new ICOM IC7610 is a direct sampling software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. It has RF direct sampling system, 110 dB RMDR, independent dual receiver, and a dual digiselect. A new D-Star communication device is here. The ID31A Plus is easy to operate and is available in silver, red, or gold. It provides worldwide digital communications. You can share pictures and text messages, and it's IPX7 waterproof, compact, lightweight, and tough. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios. All right, so we're back here, and we're gonna keep Martin out there as long as he wants to stay with us, because he is a great wealth of knowledge, and I'm sure he's going to have some questions for Riley. Now, let's bring Riley into the show and talk a little about why Riley's here. We tried to create a spot called Ask Riley. Well, first of all, let me introduce Riley. Riley is K4ZDH, Riley Hollingsworth. And Riley is retired from the FCC. He was, Riley, you're going to have to help me here. I've got special counsel, was it for enforcement for the FCC? What was it?
That's close enough.
Okay, well, that's a pretty big title there. And boy, do we have a lot of questions for you. I know we're not going to be able to get to all of them tonight, but hey, this segment is going to be Ask Riley, and as we can get questions in throughout the week, we will we'll have Riley come on here and try to answer your questions. So first, let me put up Riley's name here. There it is. Now we're making a change here. Instead of you emailing the questions to Ask Riley at W5KUB, we want you just to post your questions. Post the questions in the W5KUB Facebook group, and that way Riley and I can get them out of there, and I'll get them to Riley if he didn't see them, and I think that'll work better for us. So just post them in the Facebook group. So Riley, we had some questions tonight for you, and I think you've got a copy of them. Several of them are kind of similar. You want to kind of tell us what? Well, first, let me ask you this, Riley, before we jump into the questions. How long were you at the FCC, and is there anything just interesting that pops out that you want to tell us about the FCC?
Well, I was in the Washington office for 18 years and in the Gettysburg office for about 18 years. But I really enjoyed it. I had great jobs, and with one or two rare exceptions, great bureau chiefs to work for. And I really, really enjoyed it. And you know, they say that if you love your job, you'll never have to work a day in your life, and that's about what it was like. I just was very fortunate to have good special projects. I was always in special projects, and they were incredibly interesting, and I really enjoyed it. Now, I got a couple of 2 or 3 questions here, which I'll take tonight. The others I will take next time, but let me go ahead and deal with 2 or 3, if that's okay with you, Tom.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, first of all, my makeup person called in sick today, so I apologize for that.
It doesn't look too bad, actually. You did a fair job.
We got a question from Ross. What is the assessment of the current FCC enforcement in our service and the FCC as an institution now? And, you know, that's a timely question. FCC enforcement suffered a couple of setbacks when the previous chairman reduced the field offices by about half. We lost a lot of very good people, very good experts in direction finding, but we retained a lot of good people too. And one to note is Tom Dombrowski, which he's incredible. He was in the Philadelphia office, but he stayed with the commission. And I think you'll see this reversed over the years, because the FCC in the enforcement area, and as it relates to Homeland Security is critical, and I think you'll see that reversed over the coming years. So just you have to be patient. The FCC is very strong. There's a lot of enforcement actions. If you go to the FCC webpage or you sign up for the Daily Digest, you'll be amazed at the number of actions that the FCC engages in. And the FCC has broad responsibilities from the internet onto RF. And you'll hear some talk about cutting back the responsibility of the FCC, which may be good because that may cut it back to the basic responsibility of radio frequency enforcement and interference resolution. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. All institutions now, all government agencies are static under the present administration, and we'll just have to see where that goes. The second question I got was how to clean up 7200. And I'll just say for that the FCC is very aware of 7200. And what 7200 illustrates is that I was once told by Bill Cross in the policy division down in headquarters that the two most common elements of the universe were hydrogen and stupidity. And I think you'll see that on 7200. And it's just a matter of time. And it's amazing that people will have thousands of dollars of equipment and use it as a juvenile would use a walkie-talkie in the old days. So the hammer will drop on that. It's just a matter of time. The FCC is very actively engaged in enforcement. It's just that you don't hear much about it because it's not publicized due to Privacy Act. The third question, how can we get enforcement in regard to X-rated subjects, music playing, and obscene language? And that's a complicated question. In regard to language, the Supreme Court has ruled that there's a safe harbor from 10 p.m. to about 6 a.m. in the morning. And we'll never be able to eliminate that. I mean, that's a safe harbor across the board. A lot of our problems in amateur radio are related to the fact that we're a cross-section of society, and we want it to be that way. So you're going to have people with mental problems. You're going to have experts in radio communications. You're going to have people who don't appreciate it. Just as being a cross-section, though, is what we want because we don't want to be an elite group. So we'll have to put up with a lot of that. And rudeness today is prevalent in society, and I think anybody would admit that the language standards and the courtesy standards have really fallen over the last decade, and it's probably a pendulum. You know, it'll swing back pretty soon, I would hope. I got another question on station control regarding the digital modes, and I want to do a little more research into that, and I'll handle that next month if you don't mind, because that is a complicated question with the some of the more recent digital modes. I'm familiar with PSK31 and RIDI, of course, but the most recent digital modes are a little different, and they do raise some control issues. Now, you asked me, Tom, in a previous email if I was familiar with the International Order of the Crazies, I think. Didn't you ask me that recently?
I did. Do you check into their nets, or are you a crazy?
Yeah, that's actually a great group. They're very serious and very competent operators, but they try to have fun because, the greatest experience in anything, the greatest joy in anything is to experience joy in doing it. In fact, Charlie in the International Order of Crazies Technology Center developed a boomer cell phone for me. Can you see this?
I see that cell phone, yes. Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, it is. It's the only reliable network. I made all of my Thanksgiving and Christmas calls on this, on the very reliable network. Now, Charlie invented this for me about 5 years ago and shipped it to me.
Yeah.
And it has some amazing capabilities. One is it's rock stable, which is very good. It's Bluetooth backward compatible. There's Wi-Fi connectivity, and some call that Bluetoothless. Extended range configuration, and it operates through this antenna. I think I just broke it. Yeah, you've heard of cordless phones. Here's a phoneless cord. I think I just broke it.
Yeah.
It worked splendidly. It's DOS 7 operating system. But anyway, it's the only reliable network. Every call I made for Thanksgiving and Christmas came through beautifully. But I wanted to show you something. You know, you pulled a trick on me tonight, Tom. You told me this was show and tell.
Yeah, show and
And it
tell.
reminds me of what happened to me in the 10th grade. Somebody told me they were having a costume party, but they only told me. I was the only one that showed up. That's weirdly. But I wanted to show you this. Look at these tubes. Now, on this little tube is a microwave tube.
Let's see. Let me get your name off so we can see it better. There we
Right
go.
there.
There we go. Let me see. Hold it up a little higher so I can see that tube. Okay, the little microwave tube. I see it. Yep.
My mentor in Spartanburg, South Carolina, who's 96, gave me that tube. The middle tube is a 4-400, which was one of the two tubes at WRHI AM radio station in Rock Hill, South Carolina, where I worked as a student in high school. The other one is, I'm sure you guys will recognize it. It's a Westinghouse broadcast tube, an 8813. Very high-powered tube, which worked great in my novice rig.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
all over the place with that. I always got the contact. So I wanted to show you that. And
I bet that would run. I bet that ran to 75 watts, just solid, right? Key down all the time, man.
Yeah, I drove it with 75 watts.
Yeah.
I loved it because it would dim the lights in the house and scared my dad. By the way, if you get a call from a person named Karen from Gettysburg, don't take that. That's my sister-in-law about 2 miles up the street.
Okay. Let me just say this: we do have some of the crazies in the chat room tonight. So
I think you would. Yeah, there's a great group of people. They have just Google them. They have very serious nets, very loyal, and very talented group. And the thing I like about them is they don't take themselves too seriously. In fact, since you told me there was show and tell, I have a picture of Charlie.
Yeah. Now, isn't Charlie out in California?
Man, I don't know.
I think he was.
You're asking me after 3 bourbons. His call sign is NN3B. I don't think it's California.
Yeah, well, you know, nowadays you can be anywhere, you know.
Yeah, he invented this Bouchy telephone here, which I want to tell you is phenomenal. You will get through on this regardless of what the skip is. But he invented that to me he mailed that to me, let's see, in May 20th, 2011. So I gave him a quality control report about 3 months ago, which is pretty timely for the international order.
I followed that a little bit, and I thought I was seeing somewhere they were reporting it lost. Did that ever, at some point, did it get lost and then refound?
No, it was in my basement. It wasn't lost, just I couldn't find it for 5 years.
All right. Well, you know, hey, the crazies, they've been trying to get me. I've been next door to them outside for like 30 years, and they keep trying to get me, you know, in there. But so far, I haven't let them draft me yet.
It's a wonderful bunch of people. They are a very long time and very serious operators. And at Dayton every year, one day they have a big dinner outdoors if the weather permits at one of their members' houses. I can't think of the name of the town there, but it's a wonderful group of people. I've known them for years and very talented and very good operators.
All right. Hey, Ronnie, let me ask you another question. Just let me throw one more out at you. And I heard this on the air just the other day. You know, a couple of guys talking, and somebody kind of moves in and says, you know, hey guys, we have a net on this frequency, and we've been doing it every single day for 40 years. And the people were nice. They moved. What do you think about that? That's the right thing to do, right? Move.
You know, just because you have a right to do something doesn't mean it's right to do it every time. And it is right to move. Have you ever noticed that when you leave a great concert or athletic event, you stop and let the person to your right or left out, and you go ahead, and the person behind you lets another person out. You don't have to do that. You could go straight down the road and not let anybody out. But if you have a little bit of courtesy, everybody gets home earlier. And it's just common sense. It's just common sense. And the nets, they don't have a right to any specific frequency. Some of these nets, such as Carolina Coastal Emergency Net, the South Carolina single sideband net and the YL sideband net. They've been there like 30 or 40 years on those frequencies. And we have thousands of discrete frequencies. And it doesn't hurt anybody to move and defer to the net. That's much easier than a net telling 20 or 30 check-ins that we need to change frequencies. It's common sense. And it's just the right thing to do. You don't have to do it, but it's just the right thing to do, and society works better if you do that. It's like I've noticed that when you pull up to on a major highway and you pull up to the yield sign, if you pull up there slowly like you would really appreciate being led onto the main highway, people will slam on brakes to let you out. If you pull up there wide open like you're determined to get out there, they'll speed up to keep you from getting in. It's just human nature. It's just a little courtesy goes a long way, and it's the same way on the amateur bands. It's the same way on the highways or athletic events or whatever. It's just common sense.
Well, Riley, you've answered quite a number of our questions that came in over the last couple of weeks. We appreciate that. If everybody out there will just post your questions on our Facebook group. As soon as we get a bunch of questions, Riley will be back. And Riley, you don't have to wait till we get a bunch of questions. We'd love to hear some of your stories about the one big knob and things like that when we have a little bit more time. So maybe we do something like that one night without questions if we don't have them.
That's a deal.
Yeah.
I'll see you about, once a month or something?
Sure. Now, let me ask Martin. Martin, you've been a ham since 1960. How do you ever have anybody tell you to move off frequency, Martin?
Well, I have, but it was probably my fault. I shouldn't have been there. But Riley he's a really funny and entertaining guy, and he makes very intelligent comments, and I think I'm just about beyond the point of being able to understand anything that's intelligent. So I think I might kind of back out a little bit while I still can. All
right. Well, Martin, you go get your nightcap there and go to bed. And what's up?
Incredible thing ever invented, that antenna analyzer right there.
Can I say something, Martin?
Yeah, jump in.
Yeah. Martin, I got this. I want you to know this. I got this in 1998, and I've used it. Well, this has actually been in Mali, West Africa now for, oh my gosh. I just got it back a couple months ago. Can you see that?
Oh, wow.
Now we can, yeah.
Darn it. There we
right
go.
There.
There we go. This unit has been used in Africa to help put together FM radio stations, something on the order of 75 of them. And it has been through what.
It looks like it has.
And you want to hear something? It works like a charm.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
But anyway, it was just one of those things. Martin, I saw you today, and I'm going, I need to show you this, because I bought this back in '98, and we took it to Africa. I left it there with the stations that I was working with, and the field tech or field engineer guy that I was working with pretty much used it out in the field, and it's still working today, even though it's kind of rough for wear. But anyway, it's a big compliment.
About your stuff, Martin. I've got an antenna relay box out on the tower here that was put in 1999, and it still works. Your stuff just works.
Well, I appreciate both of you saying all that, but when I hear stories like that, I can't believe how old I am now.
Oh well, I tell you something. Just about in every ham shack around the world, you will find at least one MFJ product.
Exactly.
Wow. All right, Martin.
And Emmett, sorry, I'm gonna miss your segment.
That's all right.
Well, he can watch it
soon anyway.
He can watch it on the rerun. All right, 73, Martin, and Riley. We'll see you again in a few weeks.
All right. I'll see you soon. Thank you
thanks.
for having me on
See you
the show.
again, Riley.
All
Thanks.
righty. Thank you.
Bye.
See you, Martin.
Have a good, Martin.
Bye.
All right. So,
Where'd everybody go?
yeah, where'd everybody go? Boy, I tell you, we're running late tonight, but hey, we've had a good show tonight, I think. I'm happy with it. Emmett, you know, you got 2.5 minutes. Go ahead, man. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Bye. No, just
How you doing,
Yeah.
man? All right,
doing
so
pretty
let's
good.
see. We're going to talk about just antennas in general tonight.
Well, that was one of the plans, but you know, once we start digging into this one, we're gonna need more time. But one of the things I was going to talk about is the fundamentals, of course, which is always the important thing. Keep it simple, and let's see, what else was it? What were we going to talk about? Also, the batfish. Once again, I was going to give an update on the batfish. Let me see if I got this. I'm looking at some pictures right here. But you know, I think maybe we can reschedule for another time and work from there. What do you think?
Okay, well, we can. And hey, there's somebody in the chat room. I think a friend of yours, maybe was it W5BFF?
Yeah,
You know
he
him?
doesn't want me to show you. He doesn't want me to show you pictures of him in his pajamas on the batfish.
I hear
Let me
he
see
was.
what I got here.
I hear he was there at the Batfish,
Oh, yeah.
and I hear he took away that 80-meter off-center fed you had.
Yes, he did. It was I keep it on MCOM 1 because it's one of those antennas that you use all the time, and you know, instead of just a simple dipole, I like the OCF because of all the different things it can do. And on MCOM 1, it's one of those things that it's my go-to antenna when all else fails, and because of all the different configurations. And we can go through that at another other time. And he started playing with it, and next thing you know, he says, "Emmett, you're not getting your antenna back." And I'm going, "Oh man," you know.
And that wasn't just a plain old off-center fed, right? That's what is that one you sell, or is that kind of a different model?
That's our off-center fed. Can you see my screen at all?
Yeah, I'm seeing your password right now.
You're funny.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I'm seeing your screen. Yeah.
Okay, just the whole desktop.
Yeah.
Okay. What I was going to show you is, let's see if I can find that picture of him. Oh, this is him in the morning. No, that's my son. That's my grandson. That's what happens when you get a new antenna.
Yeah.
But let's see if I can find Jerry here real quick. The batfish. There he is. He's not in his pajamas, but he's in the festive mood for Christmas. So that was kind of cool. And then that's Paul. He was active in I don't think he's in the reserves. I think he's in the guard. But he's retiring this year, and he's a key element, I would say, in working with the batfish. I wanted to show you a really cool. I'm going through these pictures real quick. Look at that. How's that for a neat little teletype machine?
That's cool.
Can you see that? That's an old tape machine.
Yeah.
And it's still operational in the batfish, which is really cool. One of the things that we've been talking about doing is, coming back to and bringing back alive some of the older radios and bringing them back on the air again, which is really cool. Some of these old AM radios are absolutely beautiful when they're operational. I love the warm sound of a tube radio. They didn't do single sideband, but they definitely do AM, and they sounded wonderful. So, but anyway, that was one of the things that I was going to talk about, and then of course I was going to talk about the basics of antennas and so on. But honestly, it is getting kind of late.
Well, let me just okay. We'll kind of go off script here. Let's talk antennas.
Okay.
Let's talk antennas. I use a lot of resonant antennas, inverted V's, and delta loops and things like that. And since I've added this AL80B here with a little power, I wanted to try a vertical antenna. Now my tuner, the auto tuner I had was only a 100-watt tuner, so I picked up one of the MFG 1500 watt tuners, and it's working good for me. So I kind of like that. And the thing is, it was so cold, I went out the other day and I pulled up a wire, and it looks like it's about 40 to 45 feet tall. And I've got buried radios in the ground and ground rods. But it won't tune on 80. Is that it probably has something to do with the length, right?
It has everything to do with the length. As a matter of fact, what you're doing is it's all about, how do I say this, getting close to the resonant frequency of whatever you're trying to work with, as well as the ground radials. There's a reason why AM stations run 100 and something to 200 radials underneath the tower. Well, one, to maintain the signal, the signal pattern that the FCC assigns them, and also to give them the best signal as possible. And as your ground changes, I don't have a good picture of that. As your ground changes, the reflectivity of the ground changes with the number, how much moisture you have and all that. And the more you have, as far as let's say, how do I say this? Radials that are resonant close to the frequencies that you want to operate on, the better off you are, and the less work your antenna tuner or your ATU is going to have to use to basically get to bring the antenna to resonance, not resonance, but to basically tell your radio that you can transmit on that antenna.
Well, I'm going to. It's supposed to be warm. To next couple of days, it's going to be up to 66 here, and then after that, the next day it's going to be freezing rain. But what I want to do is, I think I can extend that vertical wire up to at least about 70 or 80 feet, but I had thought about making it like, I think it's called a Marconi. It's just a T. It's a T antenna. Straight piece of wire feeding the center of another piece of wire. I guess that gives it top loading, and it makes it look longer.
Yeah, actually, it creates a capacitance hat.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stations that used to do that back in the old days for AM radio.
Yeah.
And some shortwave stations used to do that as well, because they couldn't build a tower as high as the frequency that they were allotted. So they would create the wire antennas like that. That's not a bad thing.
Is there any way to model that? I mean, I know you got a lot of variables, the ground conductivity and all that stuff on the radios, but is there a simple way you can model that T antenna?
Oh, sure. As a matter of fact, there's models inside the couple of the not Easy NEC, that's what I use. The W4, I can't remember what the name is. It's there's a couple free modeling programs out there that you can download, and they actually have a T. It's called a T antenna, which is an HF vertical that you're using the top wire as a capacitance hat. Yeah.
I tried to download and I looked for some. I couldn't find anything that I could easily use to do that. So,
am I going to see you in Orlando?
No, I won't be in Orlando. But
okay,
you'll be back on. You'll be back on here.
Just send you a memory stick with that free software, and it works quite well. There's a learning curve. Any of the simulation software, there's a learning curve. The thing I've learned over the years, though, is that what you see on the computer as far as the model is concerned versus what you get in real life, especially in the HF world, is something completely different. And as Riley can sometimes attest, because of some of the work that he's had to do in the past with, let's call them rogue AM stations, maintaining that signal pattern is paramount. But unfortunately, not all radio stations would do that, and they would do things to cheat, and it would cause all kinds of problems everywhere else.
Well, I'm gonna play with it. The thing about antennas, they all work different. Propagation, time of day. I mean, I've got 4 or 5 antennas I can switch to, and also get where a station's located. Hey, the guy's loud here. I can change the antennas. He's still loud. He's still loud. But he's weaker on this antenna. But somebody else may be stronger on that antenna. So that's just why I like to play with different antennas to try to figure out which one works the best to where I'm trying to talk to.
You bet. Do we want to get some questions for antennas, just out of curiosity?
Sure. I tell you what, I'll.
And by the way, a couple quick notes. We're going to be doing the event station again this year for Xenia.
That's good.
Plus, we're gonna have MCOM1 set up in the general vicinity of the event station as well. So that's going to be kind of neat, being able to kind of let people see on the emergency communication side, what else is out there. It's not just amateur; it's land mobile. It's a interoperability vehicle. It's not really a comm vehicle per se, but it's really going to be kind of neat, and we're looking forward to that. The people at Zinnia last year, what can I say? They really busted it to make it work, and the little problems. When I say little problems, for some people they were big problems, but the problems that were there were insignificant compared to some of the problems that I remember at Hera on a regular basis.
Oh yeah, well, and it's going to get better each year. Let's see. Somebody in the chat room is talking about a Mosley TS36. I had a Mosley Classic 36. No, Classic 33. It wasn't a Junior. It was the Classic. And
it's a big one.
I gave it away this year to a ham down in Mississippi, and I gave away a bunch of tower. It'd been in storage for like 15 years. I enjoy the wire antennas. I can do about as good on wire antennas as I can do on with a beam.
Right.
The phone line is open, guy. If anybody wants to call in and say hi to Emmett, 901-286-1116. Give us a call. We're a little off subject tonight, but we're just kind of taking it as it goes tonight.
Good question from Jeff, N3VE. Where is the best feed point on a four-sided loop for 80 meters? Well, it depends on what kind of radiation pattern you're wanting to go. If you want to go vertical, you want to go horizontal, you want to go kind of somewhere in between. It's all a matter of where you put the feed point on that antenna. The other part is sometimes just putting that loop around on, well, let's just say 20, 30 feet above the ground and running that 80-meter loop will give you probably better overall performance for regional communications than you would if you were to just stick it up in the tree. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question about that. And I've used loops like it before. I've used them both horizontal and vertical, standing vertical. A delta loop's basically, it's a full wave loop, just like a four-sided loop. But I know, like in a delta loop, if you feed it in the corner, I think it's vertical. If you feed it in the center of one of the legs or the bottom leg or something, then it's horizontal. But I was not sure on a flat four-sided loop. I thought pretty much you could feed it anywhere and it would still be horizontal.
Pretty much, that's exactly it. When your loop is facing, in other words, when your loop is, instead of going like this, it's like this.
Right.
In relationship to the ground, it's horizontal and it's everywhere. It's omnidirectional, and it's a very quiet antenna, and it's actually a pretty darn good antenna for this time, especially with these bands being the way they are. I saw someone saying you wanted to do an 80-meter horizontal loop that works great for NVIS. Yes,
let's see,
most definitely. Matter of fact, on our website, we've got a couple Army documents or manuals that are available for the public in a PDF format that you can download, and it has all kinds of structures and suggestions on how to do different types of communications. And that's the key thing that I think most people need to take into consideration when they're either planning their shack or the kind of communications that they're going to do. Because how you set your antenna up will greatly determine, who you're going to talk to. If you're going to put this thing 10 feet off the ground, you're only going to be talking to people, within a couple hundred miles. If you're going to put it up 80 feet in the air, you're going to be talking to people on the other side of the continent and probably the other side of the world. And so it's all a matter of what do you want? What's the most favorite thing that you'd like to do with this hobby? And if you can only put up one antenna, what is it that you want to do? And then work from there.
Well, the nice thing about a loop is it's multi-band. I don't use a tuner with my loop, and the SWR is very low on just about every band. Who's on the phone?
Hey, how are you, Tom? This is Mike, NX2U, your guy on East Tennessee. My
Next
question is for
That's
Emmett.
a good one.
We were discussing putting a vertical antenna on my shop roof. It's about 50 feet across by 30 feet. I want to put it dead center. It is a metal roof, Emmett. Can I just run it like that, or do I have to ground the roof to ground rods?
Is it metal or aluminum?
It's metal. It is tin. It is a tin roof.
Does that make a difference, Emmett? I mean, aluminum versus steel?
One is the ferrous material, which absorbs RF a lot more than the aluminum, which would reflect it. But typically, I would say start with just running the vertical on the roof, connect your ground side to the roof and see how it works. If that doesn't work, leave the roof alone and go ahead and run some radials that are resonant at the frequencies that you're trying to operate at, as best you can, of course. It all depends, because I don't know exactly what your roof is galvanized with. Is it real tin? Is it, some material that would be reflective, or is it, pretty much a ferrous type material that would absorb a lot of your radiation and cause you more problems than it would be worth? So I would say
try it, right?
Yeah, try it. You know what? The fun thing about this, back in, when I got my license, 1968, all I can say is experiment, play, do things, understand that, as a hobby, this isn't just inside, it's outside as well. And in many cases, we spend so much time inside our shacks, putting our radios together, our computers together. We spend thousands of dollars inside, and we only spend a couple hundred, if that, on the outside. And the sweat equity that you spend now getting your antennas and your radiating systems together, antennas, grounds, coax, everything working on the outside will allow, or will, there will be a net benefit or a net gain for everything you do when you have to sit inside in the wintertime and it's stinking freezing, and you actually have a decent antenna system put together because you spent the time to make it work.
Right. I got another question for you. I've got 70 acres here, and I have barbed wire fencing running all over. How can I hook up to that and use that?
Well, I have got a friend in Wyoming that is in a similar situation. What he ended up doing is taking the top rung of his fence, and he uses those electric fence insulators.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he just runs the top wire through the insulator, and then he hooks up to that, and he has this huge beverage antenna that he can hear for, it's a super quiet antenna, and it actually works pretty decent for him.
Well, I may try that because I've got miles of wire, and it's just hooked up all over, and with cross fencing and everything else. What about a ground? What would I have to do for a ground on that?
Well, understand this may not, super long wire antennas may not be good for transmitting, but they'll be fantastic for listening. And a lot of the older hams are familiar with the idea that, back in the day we had a transmitter and a receiver, and we had one antenna was set up for receiving, and we had one antenna for transmitting, and we'd switch between the two. As a matter of fact, a lot of the radios that you're starting to see now on the mid range and the higher range have a jack on the back of the radio specifically for receive, and that's where something like what we're talking about would come into play. You're creating a huge beverage antenna, so you're going to be able to hear everything, and then you're going to have to figure out what antenna will do best on the transmit side.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And thank you for putting me through, Tom.
Yeah,
I'll catch
Mike,
you on here, Tom.
Mike, thanks for calling. Bye-bye. All right, phone lines are open. We had a couple of calls come in, but we couldn't take them.
Katie's acting jealous all of a sudden. Yes, Katie, I do have a couple other friends in Wyoming, but you're my best friends in Wyoming. Just kidding.
So is Katie still in there? I'm surprised. Usually she gets sleepy and leaves us about mid-show.
Yeah, I was giving Dwayne a hard time about being sick and the reasons why they're sick. It's that cabin thing. You're stuck in a room. You're stuck in a small house with someone for extended period of times. You know what happens.
Well, we need to find out who gave it to who. Did Dwayne give it to her, or did she give it to him? We really need to find out.
Think about this too. Katie's mom lives next to him, so
All right, let's see. We got a phone. Let's see. Who's calling?
Hello, this is Jerry, W5BFF.
Uh-oh.
Jerry, Mr. Pajama Man.
Thank you for not showing any of those pictures, by the way.
You bet. Oh, by the way, here's a show and tell for you. I don't know what the heck this is, right? Just kidding. Yeah. My Windows NT boot disk.
I wanted to talk about linear loaded elements and how to build and tune those to, what I'm thinking of, and I love my DX80 Pro line, et cetera, et cetera. best antenna I've ever used, but I'm going to the Cowtown Ham Fest next weekend. I'm taking the motorhome. It's just going to be me. And I was wondering if there would be some way I could use a linear loaded element that just basically spans the top of my RV that would be wide banded and what I could do to shorten that.
Okay. Are you able to watch the monitor right now?
Yeah, but I do have about a 15-second delay. I just saw you bring. Oh, Riley's still on. I see the hex beam that just popped up, so I've got a little bit of a delay.
Okay, on the screen right now, I've got our Sentinel with the 40-meter linear loaded element add-on, and what we've done is there is no real calculator for linear loaded elements. The best thing I can do is describe it to you as, we've got the basic math. We can figure out what it technically should be, and then what we end up doing is we put it together, we test it, and then we adjust it to make it fit, for the frequency and the space. Now, what we've done here is we've taken a 20-meter. You can see here's the 20. Let me back out a little bit. This is a radio wave Sentinel. This is the 20-meter element right down here. Okay, then this is the 40-meter linear loaded element, and this was, by the way, the antenna we used in Wyoming during field day on 40 meters, which was really cool because they could just point in the direction they wanted to go and they were there. And what we've done is all we're doing is we're just taking that longer length of wire and going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to fit the space. In this case, you can see it's the actual hex beam as well. So you've got a reflector here, and then you've got the driven element right here. Now, the one thing you're going to discover with linear loaded, though, is it's a lot more, how do I say it? It's a lot sharper. In other words, you don't have the bandwidth that you would normally have with the linear loaded element. But because you're doing what you're getting ready to do, I would suggest you use that, like the off-center fed that you got, and get a, for instance, something like a. Did you see that one piece, that triangle piece that I had on there? Let me see. I'll bring this back up again.
Well, I saw that little resistor piece from you.
Yeah, you got that too. That's for terminating. That's a different deal. And that would be good too. But am I back on the screen there? There we go. You are back up. Here we go. Okay, now I'm going to zoom in to the element itself. Oh, by the way, just to let everyone know, we've got a new dealer, by the way, Tom.
Yeah, who's that?
In Moscow. Can you believe that?
That is cool, man.
Moscow, Idaho.
Oh, I was going to say Moscow, Tennessee.
Yeah, really cool bunch of people. Austin and Heather with Northwest Radio Supply. There aren't a lot of ham stores around, so they they do computer work and ham work as well. Anyway, as you can see, this is the linear loaded element. What we've done is we're using these rings, okay, and that's I'm just doing that to create some separation between the elements. And this little triangle here has got these little holes, and all I'm doing is I'm taking the wire from here, going up all the way over to one side, and I'm going back and forth, so many times. Okay, now what you would think is that, okay, let's use the regular math, the math that a lot of people like to use, 468, divide that by 2, divided by the frequency, and you get a half wave. The reality is you can figure at least 40 to 50% more wire is required in order to give you that half wavelength resonance on the linear loaded element. But once you do that, or once you start playing with it, in your case, you're not going to be, you're not going to be able to just go scientific with it. You're just going to try and create this linear loaded element and then use your autocoupler to do the rest for you. In other words, yeah, sometimes field expediency outweighs efficiency. Does that make sense?
Well, and everything else except for that DX80, because I took my tuner out of the mix on that. That was just amazing.
Thanks. But yeah, you would just what you can do is you can create a on the top of your are you just wanting just the space of your camper?
Are you want to drive down the road with your camper and operate, or stretch the wire out a little bit?
Oh, no. I set it up when I get there. When I'm traveling, I stow my HF rig and everything.
Uh-huh.
So, but I think I lost Emmett.
Well, he's still here. He's still here. Oh, yeah.
He was talking, then his audio went away.
There, I stopped sharing. If you're just going to string it up, remember, you just use those fiberglass poles that you have, get it up as high as you can, bring it down, and then if you have extra wire, basically create a little jig that you can use, like a little pulley type. Matter of fact, you know those nylon, they're like pulleys just for like not deer, but those compound winches and stuff like that.
Like
when
gambrel?
you're using for. Well, I hate to say it, when you use to dress deer and stuff like that, don't use a metal one. You can get those little pulleys, and you put like 4 and 5 of them together. And what you can do is you can run your wires through those plastic pieces, tie them all, basically tie the block and tackles. Let me get a pencil real quick.
I always knew it was like a compound. Compound pulleys where you had like 3 wheels in each, and you just wrap the wire, around all 3.
Yep.
Like a block and tackle.
Yeah, like a block and tackle. Yeah,
and that's exactly what you're going to be doing. By doing this, though, you're going to be able to expand and contract the antenna to the space that within reason, of course, the space that you got. As a matter of fact, we developed a folded terminated antenna for FEMA back during Katrina because they were having to deploy their antennas on top of some buildings. And unfortunately, the antennas they had were 90 feet, and the buildings were maybe 60 feet or whatever. And they needed something that would work for them. And that's how we came up with our variable FTD, where literally it accordions in, and it basically compresses in using like that block and tackle type thing, and then it expands back out again to fit the space that they have available to them. And that's what you're going to do with the off center fed. You'll do the same.
Cool.
I just noticed that Riley is still in there with us now. Riley, you got anything you want to throw out about what we're talking about here?
This is
Riley's a one-trick pony on 17 meters.
Appreciate it. It's very informative. But I'm going to have to sign out. I promised this dog I'll walk down the street, and I better do that before it gets too late.
Well, okay, Riley. Well, hey, we enjoyed having you tonight. And again, everybody tune in for Riley's regular segment called Ask Riley. He's going to answer all your FCC questions, and he's going to give some little talks about things like your radio. It has one big knob on it.
Hey, Riley.
Yes, sir.
You have a good one. Be safe. And just a little thought. I just remembered. Do you remember? Oh my gosh. Never mind. This is someone else. Both you and I both know very dear in the Salvation Army that passed a couple years ago. And
Yes,
I
know that. And in fact, I was listening to the Salvation Army Net the other Saturday, and I thought about him.
Yeah, really close friend of mine. I remember you were going to come down to visit us in Joplin. Him and I were trying to arrange it to where you could come down and do some things and not get any attention, if you know what I mean.
Very nice fella.
But I wanted to say personally, thank you very much for volunteering and being there. You weren't there, but I'm just saying, the spirit of being a volunteer, which is so key in times of distress.
I remember during Hurricane Katrina, the Saturn Net had handled, I think it was 2,700 health and welfare messages.
Yep.
Probably more than that, before the feds even realized what was going on.
Yes. Yep. As a matter of fact, that this one antenna that we have it's our Saturn antenna.
Uh-huh.
Originally, it was for Saturn back in the day. As a matter of fact, it was one antenna that we used during 9/11, and it was the one antenna we had that would give us everything that we needed to get for the different frequencies. And of course, because of name issues, we had to change it to Saturn instead of Saturn.
Sure.
But anyway, I just wanted to say hey, and I wanted to recognize your willingness to volunteer, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's great seeing you, great talking to you.
And Pat really appreciated it too. And I really miss that guy. You know that anyway.
He was very nice, very classy.
Yep.
All right, Tom.
Thanks,
And,
man. We enjoyed having you on the show tonight. Looking for you to be a regular on here.
I would love that. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. 73. All right.
Hey,
All
there's
right.
your smiley face.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I just see a picture of your smiley face.
Yeah,
I don't
you-
see your real smiley face.
What time's it getting to be? Boy, it's 9:40. We probably are
Yep.
to think about because I'm
Yep,
feeling like.
Someone did ask me a question. What's that foil behind me?
Yeah,
Well-
I was going to bring it up a minute ago. What is that?
Actually, what that is, that's one of our Wi-Fi routers.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm down in my lab, so it's downstairs. And what I do is I put the foil there, so it basically
Makes a little parabolic or
Exactly,
something.
little
or,
parabolic
yeah,
dish,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's cool. All right. Well, we're going to get off here. I'm going to open Hangout up just to see if anybody wants to join tonight. And then I'm getting hungry for a peanut butter sandwich. Boy, I hadn't had dinner yet. Enjoyed it.
We need to schedule another time.
You know what?
This time we'll go through we'll actually do antennas. How's that
Every
sound?
time we plan this, we always talk about something different than what I advertise. But it's still good,
Okay.
It's still good.
We had some really good calls.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about. I mean, this is a lot of people's opportunity to ask those questions that in some cases they just couldn't get answered, and I'm glad that I can be there. By the way, Dave, my call is Whiskey Zero Quebec Hotel, W0QH. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, look at these. Oh, I just want to show you that. Look at these cool hats.
No, that's not W0QH.
No, that's some special people that are getting a hex beam soon, and they're also getting these really cool hats.
Yeah.
And then, there's mine. Our good friends at Gold Medal.
Yeah.
Gold Medal Productions does these really nice hats. I'll tell you what, this hat, I've been wearing it almost constantly every day except when it's absolutely zero out, and it's been one of the more comfortable hats. And my wife can tell you, I'm very particular about my hats, and it's like that fits me perfect, and I really appreciate Gold Medal Productions.
Well, yeah, and you know what? Here's a gold medal hat right here.
Nice.
You like that?
I can't see it. All I'm seeing is your picture.
Oh, you're seeing my picture.
Well, yeah, I only have up the Skype feed right now because if I have anything else,
you should be seeing me on your Skype feed.
I just see a picture of you, a placeholder.
Well, that's not good. All right. Sounds like everything broke. Might as well quit then. Yeah, and you know what? Here's a gold medal.
There we go. Oh, there I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I like those. I like that.
All right.
Cool.
All right, Emmett.
All right, Tom. Thank you.
See you later, man.
Have a good one.
All right.
7-3.
We'll plan another one here soon with you, okay?
As usual, anytime, Tom.
All right.
Or anytime I can be there.
All right,
Anyway.
man. Thanks.
All right. You have a good one. Bye-bye. 7-3.
Uh-huh. All right. Well, the show went kind of long tonight. We're going to bring Hangout up in case anybody wants to say hello and hang out. Probably won't stay on there but about 20 minutes. It is getting late. Again, thanks to everybody that tuned in tonight. Join our Facebook group. Click on the link up there, Facebook. Join the Facebook. I don't know where it is. It's up there somewhere on the main menu. We'd love to have you. We've got about 6,300 people. Also, we're starting to try to get some people together on the HF band. So if you see something like this that pops up on the Facebook group, it just says, hey, let's get together on HF, and we'll post a frequency, and we'll try to get together. And we're making a lot of contacts. I've made a lot of contacts with a lot of the people out there, and almost every day now we're getting on. We'll probably be on 40 meters. We get on 75 sometimes. So be cool to have you. We talked to Joe on there the other day on 40 meters. I talked to Katie. Got to get Katie on there with us as soon as she gets to feeling better. Thanks for all the listeners out there in WBCQ. Let's see. Next week, we're going to try to do shack pictures. Shack pictures next week. Katie will try to do shack pictures. And we got a bunch of them already. So that'll be good. So Katie will try to announce and show your shack pictures and who you are and what your equipment is. And well, I'll tell you, some of you guys out there, you look like a radio store, you know. You got so much equipment there. All right, so officially, the official show is over, and we're going to bring up Hangout now. So this is where we can have up to 10 people. You just click on the link. Can somebody put in the chat room the link to click on to join Hangout? And we can take up to 10 people at a time to join the show. So here we go. Let's see. Trying to click the right buttons here. All right, so we're coming in to Hangout right now. Let's see what we got here.
Cool. Hey, Tom.
Hey, how you doing? All right, let's see. That ought to work right there. Let's see. Yeah, that'll work.
Check in and out.
That'll work, man. All right. Well, hey, now I haven't seen William on there in quite a while. William, how come you hadn't been joining us? Where you been?
Just been real busy.
Yeah,
been catching the show on and off and watching it pretty much Memorex copy instead of live.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's see how we're doing here tonight. Let's see. I see. Well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Douglas is holding something up again. I don't know what that is, man. Let me see. Douglas, let's see what that is.
That's my 50 ohm dummy load for my QRP rig here.
Yeah.
Cool.
50. Oh, okay. I see. Okay. 50 ohm dummy load, man. For that QRP rig. That's cool. Okay.
So at least now I missed it. I'm just waiting for the.
Douglas is holding something up again. I don't know what that is, man. Let me see. Douglas, let's see what that is. Okay. Craig.
That's my 50 ohm.
Craig, you need to mute. You need to mute the audio from the show.
Yeah. Cool.
He'll get it in a minute.
Okay, I see. Okay, 50 ohm dummy load. Man.
He'll get it in a second.
QRP rig. That's cool.
Brad, you need to close your webpage.
Douglas is holding something up again. I don't know what that is, man. Let me see. Douglas, let's see what that is. Okay. Craig.
All right, he should be hearing us right about now. So, Craig, mute your audio on the show. There, I think you got it. I think you got it there. Well, I got a good group here tonight. I see Jim here. I hadn't seen Jim in a long time. Roy, William, Mike, Jim, Jeffrey, Douglas, Craig. Are there more? I saw my monitors.
I think we got 10.
It don't go any wider. Is there a little button to scroll? Let's see.
Wow.
1, 2.
That's 10.
5, 6. I'm only seeing 8, but I think I think it's because I'm trying to figure out how to scroll. I don't know. Maybe you can't.
Gotta zoom out.
Zoom out? I don't know how to zoom out. Is there a zoom button? Oh, wait. Let me try.
I think it's how you got Wirecast set up on that screen.
Yeah, let me try a control minus. See what that does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's doing it. That's doing it.
It's not changed it in Wirecast though.
No, but it did change my Skype picture over there. All right. Well, hey. Okay. Well, I was happy to have Riley getting back with us now, and he's going to be a cool guy to have on here and answer questions. And I'm looking forward to some of the little humorous talks that he can give.
Oh, he's got a lot of memories.
Yeah. And hey, we're trying to get together like in the afternoons and in the evenings on HF. I'll be posting the frequencies in our Facebook group. If you guys are available and can hear us, join us. I'm gonna start texting Riley the frequency. Maybe he'll start jumping in here with us. And let's see, who is that right there? That's somebody. Who am I looking at? Is that Charles? Charles.
How you doing, Charles?
Pretty good. Which Charles is this?
The one in San Angelo.
Okay. Oh, gee, man. Oh, I couldn't remember you there, man. Yeah, I just had a.
I haven't been
on the Hangout before.
Oh, okay. I just had a call from a friend of well, kind of a new friend I just made in Kansas City. His name is Charles, and I sold him my TS20S radio and speaker and VFO and tuner. I sold him all that. That gave me about 4.5 feet more on my desk over here.
Yeah.
And boy, I hated to sell it. Oh man, it's like losing a child or something. But oh well, he's going to use it. Maybe I'll get to work it one day. You know. Yeah.
What was the rig?
What you say? What was it?
XR.
What was the rig?
It was a TS820S.
Oh, an 820, I see.
Yeah, yeah. It was a vintage.
That was a nice radio.
It was a whole vintage system. It just took about at least 4 feet wide on the desk, and I just added me a new 7300 and a AL80B, and I just needed the room. And
I have a 520S, but I don't.
yeah, in fact I owned a 520 at one time. Great radio. 520. I've got a 570 right now. Good radios.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tom, great show, but I got to go. I've been sick all weekend actually, and just got to go to bed and get up into work in the morning and all that stuff.
Well, now, wait a minute. I thought you held a really high position at that company. I don't see why you had to go in right at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. I don't. Not at 8. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I still need my sleep.
Okay. All right, man. Well, we'll see it. We'll see you next week.
Okay. And I booked Jim and I booked the airline for Jim and myself and the rental car tonight. So.
Okay. Cool. Just we'll try to work some up like we did last year.
If that's up to you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. We'll try to do that. We're going to put you to work too.
Absolutely.
I've got for the camera system. I got a new 45-pound battery with a strap on it. And if you'll just walk around out in the flea market and get me a couple hours out there, that'd be cool.
I'll have Jim carry the battery.
All right.
And I'll carry the camera.
All right.
All right. 7-3.
All right. We'll see you.
7-3.
All right. All right, guys. This is a hangout. Anybody wants to? Did somebody put the link in? I don't know if they did or not.
I did.
Did you? Okay. Because we got so many in here. It's normally we don't have this many people in here. So this is the unofficial part of the show. This is where we talk about everything. Everything. Hey, is that Craig up there? That's Craig up there.
Hey.
How you doing, man?
I posted the.
How you doing, Craig? I lost Craig. He's not talking to me. Craig.
Craig, I hear somebody say Craig.
Yeah, Craig. I'm saying hi to Craig. Is he not hearing us?
Yeah, I'm not sure I got this sound working right.
Well, you must not because we're not.
Doing good. Doing good.
It's connected now.
I think Craig, you must be listening to us on the webcast. That's a 25-second delay.
Do I have this sound messed up?
Yeah,
I can't figure out how to make this sound work.
No, we hear you just fine.
Okay. All right. Well, until you learn, we're gonna make you go on standby. We'll figure that. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out.
Okay, I might have this figured out.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll get it. I'm sure you'll get it figured out there, man. Yeah. Okay. Boy, man.
Hey, wow. Hey, Tom's got what's burning back there, Tom?
I don't know, man. Something.
That's a virtual burn. That's just a virtual burn.
Running over legal power there.
Yeah. That's what it was. Over legal power. That's what it was there, man.
Now I think I've got it figured out.
Yeah, you're doing good there now. Yeah, man. Well.
There's the thing that's in my QRP Pixie or my valve things.
Now, what's this, a QRP Pixie and a valve thing? What, you hooking them together?
Oh, they're the rigs I've got right now.
I missed a word there. I didn't understand that.
They're the only rigs I have.
Okay. The only rigs right now. Okay. Well, everybody's starting somewhere, and looks like you're having fun with it here. I know you're building a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That's the fun
Well,
part.
that's what ham radio was originally.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to build just about everything back years ago. Didn't have anything.
Over at the stuff they're using the cable TV now. Geez, it's small. You know, the fiber connection.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Hey, when I grew up as a teenager, well, I had a football. I had to play outside. I know there's some others in here too, just like that. Look at old Bill there. I bet Bill didn't have nothing but a football. Bill, you didn't have internet. You didn't have 100 channels on TV, did you?
Three channels on TV.
Yeah.
Football, no internet. It
Yeah.
didn't exist.
Yeah, we had 3 channels, boy, and I tell you, when we got that 4th channel, it was like, wow, this is great, man. We got a new channel. It was PBS.
I don't think we could afford a football.
Yeah, it was PBS.
Yeah, that's what came up, PBS. Oh, man. I think PBS runs a lot better programming now than they did back then.
It
holding
depends
my-
on the dials and the message they present. Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we couldn't afford a football, but I did have all the dirt and water that I wanted to play with.
Yeah, well.
So I can make mud and such.
Yeah, frogs and tadpoles were free in the local pond.
Yeah, and you know, hey, you go out. Well, I mean, some of you guys probably grew up in some very big cities. My town was 900 people, so I mean, if I went out that morning, I didn't even have to tell my mother where I was going. I just had to be home by dark, man.
When the street lights came on, it was time to come home for dinner.
Yeah, that's just about right.
Same for me in the 90s.
Oh, you guys were lucky. Here in this little burg that I live in, 9 o'clock they used to blow the fire horn one time, and if a cop walked on the street and caught you, you were in trouble because you had to go home and tell your parents the police station and ask for the police officer.
Oh man, you were bad off, man. Nothing like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I got caught more times running from the library to my house, and it's maybe from your driveway to the end of the street, Tom, and
Yeah.
I always got caught by the cops.
I'll tell you, I never experienced any of that until I went in the military and overseas. And what's the word? What's the word when they locked the place down at night? What do you call that? I can't think of the name.
They closed the base.
Yeah. You better be in there by midnight or you don't get in, man. Or if you do get in, you're in trouble. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, buddy.
More push-ups for you.
Yeah. Now Kurt's in the chat room. He says he remembers days when there was no TV. Boy, I tell you, that was like 150 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Well, I think we got TV. I was born in '48. I think we got TV probably somewhere around 50, maybe. I don't know. wasn't much. And
I can remember my dad took us to Wesson Auto on a Saturday afternoon. Maybe about 63 or 64.
Yeah.
And we had the first color TV on the block. Came home, watched Glenn Ford on a Saturday matinee.
Yeah, and you know my uncle was a TV repairman in the whole county. He was the only one in the whole county, and he some people bought a new color TV and gave him the old one, and he used it for a while, and then I inherited it, and it was an old RCA color TV. Used to have a lot of trouble, and he gave it to me because he knew I could keep it going. And I remember Sunday nights, Bonanza. That was a good color one to watch.
Oh, Disney was the color show to watch Sunday.
Yeah.
Watch that wonderful world of color.
Oh,
I still remember the first TV a friend of mine's family got with color. Still remember the day going to his house and watching it.
Well, the first TV sold, my dad sold, he worked in a hardware store, and he sold the first TV in my town to a little poor black man. Basically, didn't have any money at all, but he had enough money to buy a TV. He bought the first TV in my town. I think it was like a little 7-inch TV or something like that. That's about the size of the first ones that came out.
I even remember my first color movie. Well, I can't remember which the movie was. I think it was a Western. When I went to the first one, they said, "Holy cow!" When they shot somebody, it was real red blood coming out of them.
Well, we came home from Western Auto with that new TV. The first I can remember the first program we watched. It was a Glenn Ford submarine movie. So yeah, that was an important thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So Craig, what's that scope you've got back there?
That's a That's a Tech 468.
Wow, I've got a 468 here.
Yeah, it's been sitting up for about a year, so I'm just idling it right now, getting the moisture out of it.
Yeah, on mine, seems like every time I want to use it, I have to open up and take the attenuator blocks out and reseat them to get it to work right.
I've got about a half a dozen scopes from the old North American Phillips stash. There was a warehouse out here I ran across a year ago, and he had just a big pile of the multiple labs that Phillips had.
Oh man!
I picked up a bunch of the stuff, and every now and then I play with one of them.
Yeah, I'm kind of an oscilloscope collector too. Not really intentionally. It just kind of happened. I've got a Tektronix 7623A, a 7704, a 468, a TDS 320, Yokogawa DL1540, and Picascope 3204. And out in the storage building, I've got about 8 or 9 of those cheap Chinese clones that somebody gave me at one point.
Well, we're going to have to call you Mr. Scope Man.
For those,
I got a 465. See, I got a 465 that has a couple of low voltage shorts. I fixed one of them. And I've got a 466 that I've got the fan problem. It's pretty common.
Right.
I need to take care of. This 468 is running fine. At a 2445A, and actually I had it in Radio Shack. I was doing a soldering class for the little teenagers, and
right.
His father had said, "Yeah, I worked in electronics." He had the little multi-vibrator board, and he's gonna show his kid what the waveform looks like. And as soon as he put the probe on it, magic smoke started coming out of the back, and is those metal film caps in the power supply.
Yeah.
And, then I've got a 7603 with about a wheelbarrow full of plug-ins.
Right.
And probably about a quarter of them work in that stash. So I've got a few projects to play with just scopes.
Yeah, I do too.
And it's got an old HP Spectrum Analyzer. I don't remember the number on it, but it's got a short on the 50. If anybody's familiar with it, I might need some help. I really want to get that going. I've got a short on the 15-volt line.
What is it, like a 141T or something?
It's not the vertical rack mount. It's not the horizontal rack mount. It's the vertical mainframe. With the plug-ins at the bottom.
Right. Yeah, I haven't worked on one of those, but I'm going to be getting a Spectrum Analyzer before too long. But I'm looking at buying one of those cheap Chinese ones, like a Siglent, that 2.1 gigahertz one they make.
Well, nowadays I think you could do a lot of things that are kind of close to a Spectrum Analyzer on the cheap. There's a lot of things I see to play with out there that might be an app.
I've got one of those RTL SDRs and a wideband noise source, and I've used that to align duplexers. It's close enough, but it's not great.
It really.
Yeah, I have one, and I've only just touched getting it work, and I have too many things on the bench. Way too many.
Yeah, I do too.
I'll never run out of things to do. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, I've got like 2 buildings back here behind the house that are full of stuff.
Yeah, I've been out of electronics my electronics ended with the rise and fall of projection TV. I had a TV shop from mid 80s to about 96 with the basically the life cycle of the rear projection TV.
Right.
And then I got into mid-range programming, so I kind of put the electronics on the side, and
Yeah,
just really
I'm
jumped back in the last year.
Doing IT work for the state of Texas.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did business.
That's my second home. I need to come back.
Hey guys, I'm going to let you go. It's after 11 here. I got a call tonight to get up in the morning. So it's been great again. Till the next time. 73. KEDL.
All right.
Good to
See you
meet you.
later, man.
All right. You know, like a museum when we start talking about different things.
Oh yeah. So I got a quiz for you guys.
Who's got the quiz? Was that? Go ahead, quizzer.
So, what is this widget?
Who's talking?
Picture
Is
of you.
Who's
Jim, PC.
was that Jim? Hey Jim, what's your question?
All right. Does anybody recognize one of these?
All
in your video.
all I'm seeing is you with your hat and sunglasses.
Yeah, there ought to be a chunk of Teflon in the camera frame.
Let's see. Let's see.
Am I not?
No, you're. It's like your camera's off.
You're not showing your camera.
Oh, come on. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, just start and stop your camera or something.
Oh goodness.
You had camera earlier, but now it's just you.
Oh well.
Picture of you with your sunglasses and hat.
I gotta
circle.
fix that, I guess. Wait a minute. Let me check settings.
I noticed with Hamvention, like they kept freezing up, and they'd stop the camera and restart it, and it would start again for a little while.
Yeah, they're definitely having some technical difficulties.
Yeah,
over
they've
there.
always had some issues up there.
Well, let me see if I can figure this out. I see me on the strip on the bottom.
Well, all right, we're not going to see it, so just explain to us what you're looking at, and we'll try to guess it.
Well, no, I'm just gonna lose everything if I. No. It's got a specific visual effect. So let me see if I can figure this out.
Well, you might just sign out and back in. It'll probably work then.
Oh, we got the video back.
Do we?
Really?
Yeah, there he is. Okay, we got you.
Okay. All right.
We got you.
So this is the good side.
Oh, I know what that is.
That looks like
let me see.
one of the supports out of some hardline.
Wait, let me look. Hold it here. Let me bring it up so I can see the backside. Oh, turn it around again. Turn it around. Let's see.
It's like that might have been the victim of a lightning strike.
Bingo.
Yeah. What's that? Some type of guy wire holder or something, or for a mast?
No. The clues. Somebody already guessed. Two guesses, and they were both correct. This is a piece of hardline insulator from a 6-inch UHF TV transmission line.
Okay, transmission line.
WTV 27 in Madison, Wisconsin, circa 1976, with a massive ice storm and a lightning strike in the middle of it, with 1.5 million watts going up the pipe.
Nice.
So,
yeah.
This is my souvenir from my very early days in two-way radio communication. And it is my my tower climbing good luck charm. So
all right.
Anybody who's crewing,
What a bang that must have been.
Yeah,
that must have had a big bang with that.
And there's 1,500 feet of these.
Wow. Wow.
It's fun when you work on stuff where the failure mode is that it vaporizes.
Yeah.
I've had
is when they opened up the line to start replacing it, and you talk about old timers in the old TV days. or the guy who climbed everything in Wisconsin when I was growing up was a guy named Chick Young. He was about 5'5", stocky, probably 190, 220 pounds. And he came out to the tower. I had an RCC transmitter and a paging transmitter that went off the air, not because of this, but broken, twisted pair on the ice storm. And the chick comes out to the tower and drops the first elbow and pulls out the first 20 feet of copper and says, "Well, I think we got about 1,500 feet of these. Start feeding the buckets." He loads up, gets his belt on. This was in the days of lineman's belts for climbers.
Yeah.
And grabs his thermos of chicken soup and a pocket full of cigars, lights one up and says, "I'll see y'all in the morning. Keep feeding me these things."
Oh, wow.
5 o'clock at night, he's up the tower in the dark, taking apart 20-foot chunks of 6-inch copper hardline to replace these. So I said, if this guy at his age and whatever can go up in the frigid north and climb towers, at my old age, I can still belt up and climb. So that's my climbing bag.
Well, yeah. Heck, I used to climb when I was young, but I'm not stupid anymore. That's what I say. I mean, I don't know. I mean, has somebody else
I
trying?
didn't do any climbing, but I worked for a Motorola shop, and the first gig I had with them was a tagline when raising a 500-footer. And one day they strapped me in the belt and took me up to about 250 feet. And that was the end of my tower experiences.
Yeah.
Oh man, my first climbing experience, aside from my dad's tower, was there was a 400-foot county radio tower that one of the local repeater groups was allowed to put their 2-meter repeater antenna on. I was 14 at the time, and I didn't have a belt, so I used my mom's sewing machine and got some. Went to the fabric store and bought some 1-inch web belt. And I sewed myself my own climbing belt. And my electronics instructor and 3 senior hams were stupid enough to let this 14-year-old kid climb 200 feet to in a blizzard to put up the local repeater group's 20-foot Cushcraft 4-bay for the 8.8
Well, when you're young, you'll do some stupid things. Back in the 70s, I put a repeater up at my house. Before I found another site for it, and I had 80 feet of tower up, and we actually had 2 antennas up, one like at 40 and one at 80 or something like that. But anyway, I put the first one up, and it was sleeting. Boy, there was ice all over the tower. It was sleeting, but us hams, we want to get that repeater on the air, right? So I come down, and my buddy goes up to put the other one up, and he's got his hands in his pocket up there, and it's cold, and I'm cold down on the ground. I go, what's wrong up there? He says, I'm warming my hands, and he actually swallowed a lock washer while he was up there.
Ouch.
But I tell you, I've climbed my previous tower before, where I actually, this is stupid. I climbed past a wasp nest.
Oh gosh.
Oh man.
At least it weren't Africanized honeybees.
Yeah. All right, well, guys, I'm going to get off here. It's very late. I think the show was good tonight. You guys stay on here and talk if you want to, but I've got to get out of here. And we will see you next week sometime.
Thanks, Tom.
Send your shack pictures in, and maybe Katie can show your shack pictures next week. Join us on HF. I'll start posting the frequencies, and join us on HF. We'll see.
I'm going to send Katie the picture of my first repeater as my shack pic.
That's cool. All right.
I take the news at 10.
All right. Well, I'm going to go. We'll see you guys. 73.
Thanks, Tom. The wife says it's time for dinner, so I got to go
eat.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, hey, enjoyed it being with you tonight. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Help us spread the word and get some new people in here. Always like to have new people join us. 73, it's Kurt. We'll see you later. Kurt, next time you come to Memphis, you better make some time and stop by and see us. We'll talk to you guys later. Let's see.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.